Hey everyone, it's Norm Jolin from N-Design. Today I wanted to just touch a little bit on printing. There's a lot of different things that I'm going to need to talk to you about with regards to printing, but for today we're just going to stick to one specific thing, which is I'm going to compare two different print formats, and that is digital printing versus offset printing. We will eventually down the road go into a lot of other things, getting into color for print and things like that, different formats. But for today, we're just going to talk about the differences between offset and digital. Now, digital printing, for the most part, is basically like a high-end color photocopier, is really what it is. The process is toner being transferred to paper with utilizing heat. Now, toner it starts off in a powder form, and then with heat it fuses it to the stock to adhere it to the paper. Now, digital printing has come a long way over the years, and it actually looks really good. Some people, may not even be able to tell the difference between digital printing and offset printing. The one main way to tell is digital printing, because it's toner. It's layered onto the paper, so if you look closely, you can see that you can see the toner sitting on the paper. Now, digital printing is great for short run stuff, and it's great for short lifespan stuff. And what I mean by that is, because it is toner on paper, over time, what'll happen is, whatever that paper has contact with, it is going to the toner will release from the paper and stick to other things. So if you have a stack, let's say, for example, business cards, I don't recommend doing business cards digitally. You have a stack of business cards that are sitting for any period of time, eventually they're going to start to stick together. If you take a business card and put it into a business card holder, I don't know, you may have experienced this, where you go to pull a business card out of the plastic sleeves of a business card holder, and part of the image sticks to the inside of the plastic. That's because it's digital. Okay, that's the toner coming off. And that happens over time. That'll happen on any print job. So for digital print jobs, not for the most part, okay, when I say digital, because there are different types of digital printing, okay, so I don't want to pigeonhole them all into the same umbrella, but for the most part, digital printing, that's the experience you're going to have. So if you're doing something where it's going to be a short run and it's going to be short lifespan, where it's going to just get handed out and eventually thrown away, digital is perfect for that kind of thing. But if you want something that's going to last and stand the test of time, then you want to go to the offset format. Offset is basically ink being put down on paper, and the ink actually absorbs into the fibers of the stock, and it's a lot more permanent and it's a lot more resilient. It's not going to come up. It's not going to come off the stock. The other advantage with offset is, well, aside from the quality, okay, it's going to be better quality for the most part, unless it's not a very good printer. Offset printing is much higher line screen. It's a better quality overall for the imagery. The other advantage with offset is you're not restricted to stock thickness. With digital printing, because it is a heat transfer process where the toner is going to the top of the page, and there's a roller underneath that's heating up the page to allow the toner to fuse to the stock, you're restricted to how thick the stock is that you can use. So with offset printing, there isn't that thickness restriction isn't there. You can print a really heavy stock. So if you're doing, say, for business cards, for example, with digital printing, they call it a card stock, but it really is a very thin card stock. It's not a very nice stock. Where with offset printing, you can go to a nice heavy card stock, and it has much more substance to it, which is much more effective, in my opinion. When you're holding a business card that feels like a piece of paper, it just doesn't have that effect that a card does that's on a thicker stock. So that's basically the difference between offset printing versus digital printing. They both have their place in the industry and they both have value. But you just need to know and make sure you're using them in the right places. You don't want to use digital printing for jobs that you want to have last a long time. Like I said, business cards are a perfect example of a scenario that you don't want to do digitally, even though it happens all the time. People do digital business cards. I can't stand them. Whenever I get them and I put them into something, next thing you know, a month or two later, I go to pull it out and it's sticking to everything, and the toner's all over my, whatever, my business card holder or whatever. And it just drives me crazy. It's not the area to do that type of thing. So that is my topic for this week. Not sure what I'm going to talk about next week, but it'll be something hopefully informative and you'll enjoy. Again, I'm Norm Jolen from N Design, Genius Marketing, Wildly Creative.